What up, YouTube? It's Big Lou tapping back in with What It Do with Big Lou. And today I'm doing a little something different. I mean, it's some of the same, but it's different as far as it's boxing. But I'm gonna break down my top 10 British fighters or UK fighters of my era that I've seen fight. So there ain't gonna be nobody. Everybody's on this list is from 1990 and up. Okay. So number 10, I got Kell Brook. All right, number 10, I got Kell Brook. 5'9", 69-inch reach. He's born in Sheffield, South Yorkshire. He had a record of 40 wins, 3 losses, with 28 wins coming by knockout. He's a former IBF welterweight champion and also the WBC silver junior middleweight champion. Right. His notable wins are against Amir Khan, which was his last one, Mark DeLuca, Sean Porter. And his 3 losses were against Triple G, Errol Spence Jr., and Bud Crawford. Right. My number 9 guy, I got Amir Khan. Amir Khan, 5'8.5", 71-inch reach. He was born in Bolton, Greater Manchester, England. 34 wins, 6 losses, 21 wins by knockout. He was a silver medalist in the 2004 Athens Olympics. He's a former junior welterweight WBA. He held both belts, the regular and the super, the IBF, and he also held the WBC silver as a welterweight. His notable wins are Chris Algieri, Luis Collazo, Devin Alexander, Julio Diaz, Zab Judah, Marcus Maidana, Paulie Malignaggi, Marco Antonio Barrera. His notable losses are Canelo, Danny Garcia, Bud Crawford, Kell Brook, and Lamont Peterson. My number 8 guy is none other than Prince Nassim Hamed, who was born also in Sheffield, South Yorkshire. 5'4.5" with a 64-inch reach. He was 36-1 as a pro with 31 wins coming by knockout. He's the former WBO, WBC, and IBF featherweight champ. His notable wins are against Wilfredo Vasquez and Danny Alicea of Puerto Rico, Kevin Kelly, Tom Johnson, Manuel Medina, and obviously the 1 loss is to none other than Marco Antonio Barrera, who put hands on him. That's for sure. He definitely put hands on him. Number 7, I got Ricky Hatton. Ricky the Mad Hatton. He was 5'7", 65-inch reach. He had a record of 45-3, with 32 wins coming by knockout. He's from Stockport, Greater Manchester. He's a former IBF ring and lineal champ. At junior welterweight and the WBA welterweight champ, and then he's a 2-time IBF junior welterweight champ. And the WBA super at junior welter. Sorry about that. Couldn't read my writing. Notable wins for Ricky Hatton were against Paulie Malignaggi, Juan Lascano, Jose Luis Castillo, Luis Collazo, Carlos Mausa, and Casazu. And the 3 losses, he lost to Mayweather, Pacquiao, and Senskinich, if I'm pronouncing it right. Number 6, none other than the heavyweight himself, Frank Bruno. He stood at 6'5", 82-inch reach. He's from Hammersmith, London. 40 wins, 5 losses, 38 wins by knockout. 84.4% of his wins were by knockout. He's a gold medalist in 1980 Olympics, and he was the WBC heavyweight champion. And 3 times he challenged for the heavyweight title. He challenged Mike Tyson once, Lennox Lewis once, and Tim Weatherspoon once. And that's my number 6 with Bruno. My number 5 guy is Chris Eubanks Sr. Chris Eubanks Sr. was 5'10", 73-inch reach. He was from Dulwich, London, with the 45 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, with 23 wins coming by way of knockout. He's the former WBO middleweight champion and the former WBO super middleweight champion. That's my number 5. My number 4 guy is Nigel Benn, 5'9", 73-inch reach. He had a record of 42 wins, 5 losses, and 1 draw, with 35 wins coming by way of knockout. He's from Ilford, East London. He was a former WBO middleweight champion and the WBC former super middleweight champion. Number 3, Carl Froch. Right, yeah, Carl Froch. Carl Froch was 6'1" with a 75-inch reach. He was born in Nottingham. He got a record of 32 wins, 2 losses, 24 wins coming by way of KOs. He's the former WBC, WBA, and IBF super middleweight champ. He's a 2-time gold medalist, 1-time bronze medalist. Notable wins 2 times against George Groves, Mikhail Kessler, Lucian Bute, Glenn Johnson, Arthur Abram, Andre Durrell, Jermaine Taylor, and John Pasquale. And his notable losses, his 2 losses, are against Andre Ward and Mikhail Kessler. Okay, number 2, Joe Calzaghe. Right, Joe Calzaghe. Yeah, Joe Calzaghe. Joe Calzaghe is my number 2 guy. And Joe Calzaghe was 6 foot with a 73-inch reach. He's also born in Hammersmith, London. He retired with a 46-0 record with 32 wins coming by way of knockout. He defended his WBO super middleweight title 20 times successfully in 10 years. First boxer to unify the WBO, WBA, and WBC at super middleweight. As the 2022 Box Rec ranks him as the 24th greatest fighter of all time, pound for pound, as well as second greatest European boxer ever. He once held the WBO at super middle, the IBF at super middle, the Ring magazine title at super middle, the WBA at super middle, and then he held the Ring title at 175, which is light heavyweight. Notable wins are against Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, Mikhail Kessler, Jeff Lacey, and Chris Eubanks Sr. And my number 1 guy for all-time British, this could be controversial for some people. Some people might not, consider him full British. And that's none other than Lennox Lewis. And he stood 6'5" with 84-inch reach. He's from West Ham, London. He had a record of 41 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, with 32 wins coming by way of knockout. The reason why I say it could be controversial because he has a total of 5 gold medals and 2 silver medals, 1 for Canada. Okay, he's a 3-time heavyweight champion, 2-time lineal heavyweight champion. This guy fought everybody. He fought Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Mike Grant, Razor Ruddock, Oliver McCall, Rasim Rahman, Vitaly Klitschko, David Tua, Francois Botha, Shannon Briggs, Andrew Galata, Henry Akwande, Ray Mercer, Tommy Morrison, Frank Bruno, Tony Tucker, Tyrell Biggs, and Mike Weaver. This guy fought everybody. He has a draw with Evander, and then he also lost to McCall and Rahman by knockout. They knocked him out, but then he came back and knocked them back out. You know what I mean? Lennox Lewis, is one of the greatest heavyweight champions ever in my book. I didn't really like him a lot when I was younger. Some of his early bouts, because the way he got the belt, Riddick Bowe was stripped of the belt and then he put it in the trash can, and then they just gave it to Lennox Lewis. He didn't even fight somebody for a vacant belt. They just gave it to him. So that he got a lot of controversial for that, and then he got knocked out by McCall, and then all that. But when it all comes down to it, when you watch his fights, he was a master. He had a great jab, and he could box. He could slug him if he had to, but he was he showed his craft out there. You know what I mean? And he's a legit all-time great, no doubt. You know what I mean? So that's my top 10 list of boxers. I know there might be some old-time guys back in the day, but I never seen them fight. So I just went ahead and made a modern list of the last 30 years. If I missed anybody, leave it in the comments section, or give me your opinion, what you think about that list. All right, with that being said, Big Lou's on tap on out with What It Do with Big Lou.